Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Context is King. I'm Rebecca Brayton, and with me as always is WatchMojo founder and CEO Ashkan Kabarsrushan to discuss why Mark Zuckerberg has become a punching bag for all his former high-level people.
Pretty much, well put, yeah.
Why is that?
You know, when people leave a company, they usually don't want to burn bridges. I know a lot of people who have left Google and YouTube, and they'll say, you know what? I don't really benefit by going out on the record and bashing YouTube or Google because, you know, I want to get a job, and if you start to blab away, you're seen like, you know, persona non grata at your neck. Troublemaker. Yeah. So, but what's the caveat here? Well, if you were one of the 5 people who was, frankly, let's be honest, lucky enough to come across Mark Zuckerberg at a given point in your life, not taking away that you were probably very smart and you could have probably done a lot more in terms of helping humanity, but not made that much money, let's be honest. So you have FU money. That's the definition of FU money. So it starts with that. Second, the psychology of leaving a successful organization and doing something bigger is really, really hard. That's why a lot of people stay and they overstay. When I left AskMan, which wasn't like this grand slam of success, I was like nervous. I was like, what if I was just lucky to be here and I couldn't build something bigger? Now, thankfully, WatchMojo in many ways, well, in every way that matters, was bigger and more successful, and AskMan had its own merits and whatnot. But so that is something that fundamentally messes you up. Now, all of the people who left have done successful things. And I mean, frankly, these guys have more success in their pinky than I do, so I'm not talking to put them down. I'm just giving a little bit of interesting vantage point, because I also could say what I want, and most people aren't going to say this. Chris Hughes had a lot of success, for example, going and helping Barack Obama. You know, he played a little part in Barack Obama's success. Great guy. He bought the New Republic, the Old Republic, whatever. Total shit show, circus. The other guy has, Quora. Interesting site, fantastic concept. It's never going to be anything. It's like Facebook poops that in the morning. You know, this other guy has some enterprise thing, really great. It's never going to be as big, right? So, and that's not a knock. I'm just saying it does play into it that a lot of them have made so much money. Roger McNamee, who is like an investor at wherever, and he invested. He was one of the first guys. He's coming out and he's like the biggest critic now. So I think some of these guys, it's not that they are voluntarily like whistleblowing. It's a combination, it's a very weird thing where some of it is guilt, and they're like, I created something that really sucks the living daylights out of humanity and leads to all these negative things. And I also worked with a guy, Mark Zuckerberg, who is so tone deaf and such a robot, like the critic on him.
No, I don't think he is tone deaf. I think he's the opposite of tone deaf, but he might be going against it. I think he knows exactly what humanity wants.
Okay, you're right. So it's not tone deaf. Yeah, the word, you're right. This is why Rebecca basically corrects me. No, you're right. It's not tone deaf, but it's, you can't come out and be like, yeah, I messed up. And Beacon was a mistake, but it was contained on day one because that made no sense. The feed is, so it's kind of, you created this Frankenstein, but all of your wealth is in it, so you can't really just, shit on it. But the thing is, so he comes out and instead of saying like, we got to fix this and then actually fix it, he goes, we got to fix it, and his like solution is it makes it worse, right? And then the last one, I think, is a bit more sinister. And it's like that these people who are all billionaires, and by and large, their proportional wealth is less exposed to Facebook, they feel like their legacy could amplify and be bigger if they fix or Facebook over. And that's, I guarantee you, consciously or subconsciously, what's driving. Like, I helped create this monster. It's like Avengers and Endgame, Thanos. Like, I can kill the daughters, like.
He just saw it.
I just saw it finally because I'm too busy. But I actually feel as somebody is calling me. Oh, there you go. The point is, I feel that's what this boils down to. That these people are like, that's my salvation. I'm going to fix it or take it down. And it sucks because, let's be honest, were it not for Mark Zuckerberg's evil, evil, evil genius, and the whole roots of, the roots of YouTube is piracy. The roots of Facebook is stealing the Winklevoss's idea. So it's like, that tells you everything you need to know about the Bay Area. But I think these guys think like this is their salvation or their greater calling.
Yeesh.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's going to come out and say it because nobody wants to offend these guys. And nobody wants to not get a job. But I'll tell you the truth. Like, that is absolutely part of the dynamic.
Yeah. So what do you think the best way for them to actually make a difference would be?
I don't think you can make a difference, and I'll tell you why. You know that whole concept of too big to fail? Facebook is too big that even if the government hacks away and breaks it up, the things that made Facebook, like it wasn't like WhatsApp was used by the Russians, although it was to get Trump in office. It was ultimately Facebook. It was just like a lane. Any lane of Facebook is destructive, whether it's the feed, whether it's WhatsApp, heck, Instagram, all these sexy models that take over voters and sway them to vote. You know, I'm kidding, I'm joking. You get the idea. And I'm being facetious.
It's just funny because, I mean, even people my age don't really use Facebook anymore.
But Facebook it's like there's Facebook, this platform, and then there's Facebook Inc. Facebook Inc. is WhatsApp and all these other stuff. But to your early point, it doesn't really matter because none of them are relevant. And frankly, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like, I worked with a guy, he was fine, but everybody thought he was a bit of an a-hole, a bit of a micromanager. Like he himself called himself El Duce, which tells you everything you need to know. Benito Mussolini. Like if your nickname for yourself is Benito. But I thought he was fine, and it was just, he was the president, so he was kind of in a tough spot. But the point is, after he sold the business, this is my old boss, who again I've talked about, like nice guy, but bosses generally do get misunderstood. That's why I try to be so open about the methods to my madness, so people to kind of at least understand even if they disagree. But the point I want to make is, after he sold his company, a lot of the harshest critics at the office were like, oh, well, maybe he will change. I'm like, whoa. First off, same way that Donald Trump did not change, he just was emboldened. People don't change. They may soften some aspects, but those aspects that they're softening are not the core of what makes them them. Mark Zuckerberg could sign a bigger check to charity, but that controlling, egomaniac or whatever that drives him to do the crazy things that he does, that's just going to get sharper and worse. So these guys who are coming out, all it means is they're not going to get invited to his kid's bar mitzvah. Like that's all that's going to happen. It's not like Mark Zuckerberg is going to go, oh my God, Chris, I didn't look at it that way. Putin shoving his arm all the way up Statue of Liberty's butt and, marionetting and puppeteering American electorate. That's not good. He doesn't care. He wanted to be loaded. He's loaded. Nothing Chris Hughes and the posse.
How could you not care about that, though?
Because I don't say these people, all of a sudden I'm lumping all Bay Area. All of these young coders who got a lot of money with very little real oversight, they just want to get rich and they want to have a lot of power and they want to be smarter than the next guy. It was never about the right thing. It's never been about the right thing for these guys. Anyway. And people can't say that because you know what? That's the thing. Sorry?
I never watched The Social Network, so I don't know.
There's a lot of bullshit. Like it's like there's so much hypocrisy. Like Jack Dorsey, smart guy, nice guy, means well. He looks like a homeless guy, and it's not a problem. But like if he was a she, that would never be like tolerated. So it's kind of like that. We're going on a tangent. Sorry.
What about
Evan Williams?
No, what's her name? She looked like a homeless person, sort of. That was her thing. The blood
Elizabeth.
girl. Yeah.
She was not a homeless person.
Well,
she had the turtlenecks.
Okay.
That's not what homeless person was.
Well, no, but she purposefully mussed her hair and so on and so forth. And anyway,
the Bay Area is a morally corrupt, bankrupt place. It's never been about the ethics. It's been always about money. It's always been about power and influence and more than your neighbor. New York's also been like that, but in a very different way, where there's maybe a little bit more about like just the mere fact that there's more philanthropy in New York than, so it's a bit different. But the point is, none of these guys ever gave a damn about the greater good. So this is the point I want to make. None of these guys ever were driven by the greater good. So to ask them to care about the greater good once they've leaned into their evil, I always go evil, good, fear. They gave into the bad side, the dark side, and now you want them to care? Why? That's not what got them to this place.
Even Darth Vader redeemed himself, though.
That's fiction. This is real life.
Bummer. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that evil geniuses in real life can redeem themselves? Let us know in the comments, and we'll see you next time.